Alright folks, today we're going to talk about the setup and install of the RTL-SDR dongles. Basically, you guys can get started with software-defined radio for 30 bucks. This is the golden age of SDR radio, and today we're going to walk you through step by step how to set it up on your PC and get it going. Well, the first thing you folks need to do is buy the RTL-SDR. This is probably the most common place it's bought at. Just put in RTL-SDR on the Amazon search page. Look for this picture here, and comes with a couple antennas and stuff. So, go ahead and add that to your cart. And while you're waiting for that to get shipped to your house, let's go ahead and download the software that you're going to need. So go to this web page. I have a link at the bottom of the video, so you can just click it. Alright, this is what the web page will look like. Go ahead and download that guy right there. This little pop-up will pop up. Go ahead and click save. If you do a save, it will go into your downloads folder, and there'll be a .zip file in your downloads folder. Now what I did is I made a folder on my C drive. I called it SDRSharp, and I moved the zip file into that folder. So go ahead and do exactly that. Alright, once you moved your little zip file over, right click on the zip file and then select extract all. Alright, hopefully you'll have a new folder there that will be unzipped. Go into that folder and find this little guy right here. Now I should say your PC must be connected to the internet, and you should not have plugged in your RTL yet. So go ahead and double click that install RTL-SDR bat file. You'll see this pop up, a whole bunch of stuff downloading. Press any key. You'll see at the bottom of this screen, so just press any key and everything's downloaded. Alright, now you can plug in your RTL thingy into any USB port. Go back into that SDRSharp folder and find this little guy right here, this Zagdig. Go ahead and double click on that. Alright, this little GUI will pop up. Want to go to options and select list all devices. Alright, and then you're going to want to find the bulk in interface 0, and then make sure it says, well, first time it will say none, and then make sure it says Win USB, and then click the install driver. You'll see this will take a little bit, like 3 or 4 minutes or so, say installation drivers, and then you'll see this driver was installed successfully. Alright, now everything's ready. Now you can go back into that folder and run SDRSharp. You may want to make a shortcut to this and put it to your desktop, but this program right here is the actual software. Alright. Now I got this popping up on my PC. You just click more info, click run anyway. I actually got a new computer and I deleted any of the McAfee antivirus crap, and now it runs a lot better. So get rid of all that crap off your computer. Alright, so this is the SDRSharp GUI. So what you have to go is up to the source here and then select RTL-SDR USB. That will select your device. Now what I do is before you hit the play button here, click this gear guy. This tells you the settings of the RTL. And there's two very important knobs. One is the sample rate. So that is the effective IQ sample rate coming in. So 2.4 megahertz. If you're going to hook this up to an antenna and have fairly weak signals, you're obviously going to want to bring up this RF gain here. To get started, I would just bring it up halfway just to see. If you still need some more, drag it up all the way. The problem if you live in an urban area, if you bring this RF gain up too high, it might start saturating, so don't go crazy with the RF gain. Alright, now this one thing I want to talk about here, the sampling mode. There's basically two differences. There's quadrature sampling and direct sampling. Quadrature sampling is what you want to use if you're going to look for frequencies between 25 megahertz to 1.8 gigahertz. If you want to use the RTL for HF frequencies, then you have to change it to direct sampling mode. Now some of them, it's either I branch or Q branch, so you're just going to have to play with it. But if you want to pick up like AM broadcast, one, you're going to need a better antenna than's provided. So, go string up 30, 40-foot wire somewhere, get that connected to your RTL, and then go into this gearbox and change it from quadrature sampling to direct sampling. If direct sampling I branch doesn't look right, well then change it to Q branch. One of them should then make your RTL start working for HF. Alright, so once you got everything set up, then you can click the play button. Alrighty, pretty simple so far. Alright, so some basic idea here. This is the frequency in megahertz of what you want to tune. This sets up what the demodulation you want to do. So you got narrowband FM, AM, lower sideband, upper sideband, wideband FM. This is what you're going to use for broadcast band. Over here you got a zoom slider bar. This will zoom in on the spectrum to let you see it. This contrast slider bar, very important. This is what you're going to want to move up and down. Basically, you kind of want the noise to look blue, not yellow. If it looks yellow and red, this contrast needs to be adjusted. So move this up and down and you'll see what I mean. Alright, so let's get into a block diagram of what really is going on inside this little USB dongle. So basically you have your antenna port. This is the SMA plug, obviously. They got some little protection diode, so if some lightning strike comes in, but something tells me that ain't going to protect that. Anyway, it goes into a variable low noise amplifier to amplify the signal. Looks like we then have some tracking filter. I don't know how well that is, but basically whatever you want to tune, it's going to set this LO such that this IF here is 3.57 megahertz. Then we have a variable IF gain, which you can, in the software, I guess they tie these two things together. I think SDR console actually gives you the option to tune these separately if you want. Anyway, no big deal. And this is the key. So it takes one signal and it goes into this A to D. And this A to D is always running at 28 megahertz. And the beauty of why this is clever is because it's converting it to IQ, all in the digital domain. Many older and earlier systems, this stuff right here with the DSP block was done with analog hardware. And why is that a problem? Well, it's because in reality these sine and cosines are never going to be 90 degrees exactly. The power levels between this chain and this chain are never going to be equal in analog hardware. But when you do that all in digital, there is effectively no hardware because all this functionality is being done by basically number manipulation, okay? So here's an interesting thing. This DAC here is always running at 28 megahertz, but the GUI said the IQ effective rate was coming in at 2.4 megahertz. So that is what these two blocks here are with the down looking arrow. They indicate down sample, so they are reducing the data rate that's coming into the USB port on your computer. So this is how you essentially get radio signals from the air, amplify them, shift them down to 3.57 megahertz, digitize them, and then convert it to basically what's called baseband I and Q signals. So that is pretty powerful stuff, all going on in something that is in the size of a pack of matches. Well, I hope you like this video. Feel free to comment and look at my other videos, but now you guys can spend 30 bucks and get started in this software-defined radio thing. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.